Okay, this little video is going to be about the how the anti-self-defense folks are disingenuous at best and flat out lying at worst. Here's You hear their things all the time. They'll talk about uh, guns being the number one killer of children, uh, mass shootings every day, the X amount of numbers of uh, people killed by guns in this country every year. Well, here's the thing, they're only partially telling the truth. For example, and you need to do the research yourself, anytime you hear an anti gun person, an anti self defense person talking about, and I call them anti self defense because a firearm is the best tool possible at this point in time in our history uh, to defend your life. If you're a 110-pound female and a 300-pound, 6'8" dude comes at you, you have no chance. Let's be realistic. Unless you have a better tool, which is a firearm. Now, you'll hear them all the time talking about how, the gun deaths, for example, are so high in this country. Well, a lot of that is not really honest. Yes, there's a lot more gun deaths in this country because there's a whole lot more guns. People with guns. We have this thing called the Second Amendment. Of course, you're going to have more drownings in bathtubs if you have more bathtubs in your country, um, swimming pools, etc. But a lot of those, an overwhelming number of those, are suicides. Now, yes, it's terrible people commit suicide, but if someone's determined to commit suicide and you take away the firearm, they're probably still going to do it. It's not like they're just going to give up and say, oh, well, I guess I can't do that now. So, it's just being disingenuous when you lump that number in with, a man killing his wife or something with a gun. Or another one is mass shootings every day, the number of mass shootings. Well, the problem with that statistic that they keep using is you and I probably think of a mass shooting as someone going into, like the nightclub and killing a bunch of people because they're gay or whatever. That's probably what you and I think of. They're talking about gangbangers shooting other gangbangers and calling that a mass shooting. That's not really a mass shooting in most people's eyes. Even people who aren't pro self-defense and pro gun, etc., they don't really think of that as a mass shooting because it's really not. Or a drive-by where someone shoots another person as they drive by and a couple of people are hit, or gangbangers shooting at each other. A lot of these numbers constitute, 3 or more people in these cities. That's not a mass shooting. That's not what most of us consider a mass shooting. Another big one is children being killed at alarming rate by guns, and now it's the number one killer of children. That's just not true. Children die along with adults. More adults are killed by hammers, fists, knives, etc. than they are by guns. That's a true statistic. Look it up. It's CDC. But children, that's not the number one killer of children. It's swimming pools, tricycles. Your doctor is more likely to kill you than a firearm statistically. And then they also skew the numbers by calling 18 and 19-year-olds in some cases children. These gangbangers who are 17, 18, those aren't children. We're not going to call them children anymore. They're grown ass adults, and they need to have responsibility. And that's one way of making them responsible for what they do. But yeah, I mean, just anytime you hear these spews of bullshit, look it up and see for yourself. There's all kinds of sources. CDC, and they're not pro-gun. So I mean, it's not like you're going to the NRA website and getting it, because you got to watch with those too. Those can be a little skewed. But just do your research, and always remember when someone spews out, "Oh, guns kill more children than anything. That's the number one." No, it's not. They're more likely to be killed by their doctor accidentally. But yeah, I mean, it's just something we all have to remember. The anti-self-defense people flat out lie. I mean, liberals, a lot of them flat out lie. Look at the whole Trump thing that keeps going. But anyway, like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe and be safe. And take everything with a grain of salt.